What is up, guys? It's the NJB here, and today I'm coming at you guys with a video on Star Wars Battlefront 2. So, not the original one, the new one. So, basically, what I want to talk about is kind of the state of this game, and something I'm kind of realizing about this game as I play it more and more. And at the moment, I have to say, the microtransactions problem that we've had in the beginning of this game, and which could possibly still return, is probably not one of the biggest problems with this game. In my opinion, the biggest problem with this game is really the lack of true content. So I know a lot of people have been talking about this, but as someone who actually likes the game and likes to play it, I'm not a fan of what they try to do with the microtransactions, but overall I do find this game fun to play. There are a lot of features that I would like to see in the game that are basically in most games, and it kind of makes this game feel a bit incomplete and sometimes a bit frustrating to play. So I'm going to talk about a few things that make this game kind of frustrating and some things that the game is missing. So let's get right into it. So the first thing I do want to talk about is what kind of makes the game a bit frustrating to play. So what I kind of noticed about this game is that it is very slow whenever you're trying to load into a match, whenever you're starting up the game, whenever you're getting into the game menus and getting back to the home part of the game. I mean, it is just very slow. If you try to leave a game, it probably takes like over a minute to get back to the main menu and to start searching for another game. And compared to some other games that I played, this is just unrelatable. I don't understand what's so weird with this game that it really takes just so long for the game to just work. So sometimes that's frustrating. Another thing that kind of fits into this is kind of the way this game goes through lag and network issues. So I know lag and network issues are really something you can't really complain about because it's not really down to the game makers. But in this game, I have to blame them. I mean, this is the only game I know that when you lag, like all the time, not once or twice, or not even just a host migration, every time you lag, you're always frozen in place. And I just don't get it in this game. I mean, I've lagged sometimes and I've been frozen in place, and everyone around me has been moving. Even a guy came out, he saw me frozen, he rolled back into cover, then came back out and killed me. And in the last second, right before I died, I was able to move around as a Wookiee warrior. And he killed me anyway, because I was frozen in place and I couldn't do anything, just because of the lag. So, I don't know. Something really seems unique about the way this game just handles network issues, and I really think that EA should really look into it. I don't know how much they're going to do that, but there really has to be something fixed or something done about this because it's just annoying. And as I said before, it's weird to complain about lag, but this is a problem that's pretty much unique to this game, and I really think that they should look into it because no other game lags like this, and it's just really annoying. Another thing that I really just don't like about this game are the amount of game modes. So there are a total of 5 game modes, and this is really ridiculous. I mean, the game really only has 5 game modes, and after a while, it gets very boring. So boring that you might as well just find yourself playing the same game modes over and over again. I mean, the only game modes I really play are Galactic Assault and Blast. I play Galactic Assault just because it lasts longer and is bigger maps, and I play Blast just because I really just don't trust teammates, and I feel better knowing that I can just get kills on my own and just play kind of my way. And you don't necessarily have to rely on your teammates as much as you do in some objective game modes. But speaking of objective game modes, I wouldn't mind seeing a game mode like Galactic Conquest, or not Galactic Conquest like in the old Battlefront, but more like Conquest like in Battlefield, or at least like something like Domination or like Battlefield's Domination. I mean, I think that just adding some game modes that other first-person shooters or other shooter games have, and specifically like Battlefield has, would do this game a lot of good. And it's really frustrating that we only have like 5 game modes, because I was looking through the game, I really wanted to try something new, and I realized that I can't. Now, I do think in the original Battlefront, they might have had the same thing, where they launched the game with like not that many game modes, but then they added some more in. I don't know, because I kind of stopped playing that game pretty early, but with this one, I really hope they add some more game modes. Because the game, to me, it is getting kind of stale, and it's kind of getting annoying having to play the same game modes over and over again, even though they get pretty boring. And the last thing I just want to talk about are the maps. So basically, there are not too many maps in this game. So most of the maps I'd say are okay. I can't really say I love any of the maps in the game that much. I mean, one map that I do like a decent amount is Crate, and I just think the map is pretty beautiful to look at. It's really fun looking at the red salt whenever you shoot at the ground and whenever you see the speeders like going across it. So it is pretty cool to look at, especially when you have a TIE fighter. But other than that, a lot of the maps they're okay. They're not great, but I don't hate most of them. One map I don't like that much is Endor. So I don't like Endor. I'm not a fan of Yavin 4 either. And what I hate about this game is that you can't choose the maps you're going to play in multiplayer. So in Call of Duty, in Battlefield, and in some other games, you can choose which maps you're going to play in an online match. I mean, in Call of Duty, you can't just pick any map you want, but you at least have a choice between two maps and then a random one. In this game, you have zero choice. So I thought this would be a problem with the DLC because I was wondering that maybe if I downloaded the DLC, I wouldn't be able to play it. But that luckily wasn't the case. It did put me in a DLC map pretty much every time, and that's a good thing. But most of the time, I really don't want to see Endor and Yavin 4 loaded up. And kind of like one of the first problems I said in the video, the game takes forever to kind of go back to the main menu once you leave a match. So I did to be online, I get a map I don't want, and then I have to waste five minutes trying to get another map that I actually want to play. And then I have to wait again because it gives me the same map and I don't want to play it. So that's kind of annoying. And I just wish that we can have it like Battlefield where we can choose like which maps we want to play. Or maybe a server browser would actually be good. But just because the game doesn't have something like that, it makes me really feel like not only did this game have a lot of problems with the microtransactions, but the game wasn't really completed. And probably EA doesn't really think they have to focus a lot on it because their main focus right now is probably on Battlefield. And I really think they should put a little more work into this game because it has a lot of potential. I mean, it's a Star Wars game. People like to play Star Wars material. But when they just keep doing stuff that makes the game a bit, pretty much like not that much fun, it's kind of frustrating. So I would like to be able to choose maps, and I would like to see more maps in the game because I would like to see maps like Geonosis, Megiddo, pretty much all the maps we've seen, like based on planets we've seen in Star Wars or areas we've seen in Star Wars. I mean, that's what the old game had, and we didn't have to pay extra or wait for it. And I'm okay waiting, like if it's coming, I'm okay waiting to increase the game's longevity, but I would like to be able to have a choice in which maps I play in multiplayer, and I do want to see more of the maps that we've seen in movies. But seeing that we only got one map from the DLC, I honestly don't think we're going to get a whole lot of maps from DLC, and it kind of like throws away any chances of this game being on the same level or as good as the original Battlefront. And I honestly wanted to see this game be better because I want things to get better. I mean, that's kind of what I want, just because I want to enjoy new games, and that's basically that. But I really doubt that's going to happen. But either way, those are kind of like my frustrations with this game. Basically, it kind of has like a lack of content, and I really feel like this game still has a lot more work to be put into it, and not just with the progression system. I mean, that's probably the least of our worries, because the game is fun to play, but just the lack of content makes the game a bit boring at times, and sometimes it's frustrating when you just get boring maps and you just encounter some game problems. So that's kind of like what I wanted to talk about in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. This being JB, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers, mates.